Welcome to another edition of Hollywood Hoops Laid Back Reaction. I'm Josh Martin of Lonzo Wire. He's Eric Pincus of Basketball Insiders and Bleacher Report. And today we are brought to you, as always, by High Five. High Five makes meetings awesome with insanely simple video conferencing designed for your meeting rooms. It's the easiest to use solution thanks to their all-in-one hardware and intuitive cloud software. Plus, it's a high-quality experience with industry-leading audio powered by Dolby Voice. It's so easy to use that there's no PIN codes or app downloads. Just click a link in your browser and you're in the meeting. Even the least techie person at your company can figure it out.
With customers in over 100 countries, High Five is already trusted by the likes of Warby Parker, Betterment, Harry's, and the Girl Scouts of Northern California. To learn more and start your 30-day free trial of insanely simple video conferencing, visit highfive.com. That's HIGHFIVE.com. So, Josh, kind of a bummer of a Laker game last night if you're a Laker fan. I mean, they got beat badly by the Memphis Grizzlies. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, it was close for a lot of it, but we saw really, again, in the fourth quarter, that Lakers offense sputtered. There was not a whole lot of organization, not a whole lot of continuity there, not much fluidity. Just throughout the game, really, it was a lot of isolations from Brandon Ingram and isolations from Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Clarkson. In Kuz's case, it looked like there were some dead legs involved there as well, but not a good game for the Lakers. And I don't know about you, Eric, but to me, it looks like to some extent, I saw you tweet about it last night, that Lonzo Ball's absence really seems to be taking a toll on the Lakers, particularly on the offensive end.
Well, I would even say on both ends. I mean, yes, defensively they weren't great. I thought the Grizzlies hit a lot of tough shots. Tyreke Evans played great, but they not only do they miss what Lonzo does on defense, but it's the way he organizes the offense. I think that's the main thing. And someone asked me the other day, who did they miss more when Brandon Ingram was out and Lonzo Ball was out? And it was very clear to me that it was Lonzo. And then Ingram comes back, and we still see the same kind of issues in that the team is not organized. And it's hard to put like a number, a clear representation of how Lonzo Ball helps this team. And you could try to calculate plus minuses and say there's a difference, positively or negative. All that isn't really where you need to look. You have to look at the balance that they play over 48 minutes, where Jordan Clarkson is in his role as a backup point guard, which is barely even his job. I mean, he's really not even a backup point guard. He's really a backup shooting guard. But they're having him play that role. But without Lonzo in that starting group, they just were not organized. They didn't flow. The Grizzlies were able to dictate the tempo, and they're the slowest paced team in the league, purposefully so, and they've been that way for years. Lakers are one of the highest paced teams, but they couldn't force their will. And I think that's something that you get with Lonzo, is the Lakers played their way more often than not. And they don't always win, and they still stumble down the stretch, and they're not a great team. But without Lonzo Ball, I'm not even sure they're a good team.
Yeah, it's tough to see that sort of happen. You lose one guy, and I think this is evidence of just how much the Lakers are already Lonzo Ball's team, that they struggle so mightily without him to get any sort of coherent style of play on either end of the floor. And they're going to have to figure something out, because he's not going to be available for them on Friday. They're going to be hosting the Los Angeles Clippers at Staples Center. It's a home game for the Lakers, but the Clippers now are coming in feeling better about themselves. They've won 3 out of their last 4 games. They had a nice win, a nice beatdown win of the Sacramento Kings the other night, 122-95. You saw Montrezl Harrell with 22 points off the bench. Jamil Wilson, a former G League two-way guy, with 17 points in a start. Lou Williams was good again. Milos Teodosic is healthy now. And Blake Griffin, it looks like, could be back on the mend for the Clippers in time for that game on Friday. What does that do for the Clippers now going into this with, obviously not 100% roster, but with something much more closely approaching something that Doc Rivers can work with without having to reach so deeply into the depths of the Clippers organization?
Well, whether Blake plays against the Lakers or not, it doesn't necessarily matter, in the sense that he's close. And the fact that he's close to return is huge for the Clippers, because it looked like they were, I even wrote about it, that they were at a point where they should just flat out tank. They should look to trade DeAndre. They had lost Patrick Beverley. They lost Gallinari, who's still out. They lost, of course, Blake, and it seemed like Blake would be out for longer. The fact that he's almost here, now suddenly the Clippers look up, and they're not that far off from the 8th spot or the 7th spot or even the 6th spot. I mean, the teams like the Pelicans are not where they would like to be. The Blazers have struggled. The Jazz they're in 9th, which has something to do with Rudy Gobert being hurt. But it's soft at the bottom of the West, and even the Nuggets aren't that spectacular. The Clippers have it in them, if healthy, to make a run, and they won't have Gallinari back until mid to late January. But at full strength, obviously no Beverly, but close to full strength, it's a pretty good team. And what we're getting this year that we haven't really ever gotten during a Doc Rivers tenure ever with the Clippers is the young guys got a chance to develop, right? Juwan Evans, like the gentleman, Jamil Wilson and CJ Williams, guys on 2-way contracts. They're going to have to figure out how those 2-way contracts, they're almost out of time. You only get 45 days, and I could see the Clippers try to trade or even cut Bryce Johnson to open a spot to keep one of those guys. But beyond that, they're going to have to make another move to figure out how to keep both. But young guys have played, and they've helped them. And the Clippers are now a deeper team than they've been in a long time because these young guys have played. Of course, you have Lou Williams and other. Austin Rivers has been balling pretty well for them. They've got a good team. It's not a great team. You bring Blake Griffin back. You still have DeAndre. They didn't tank. They didn't dump DeAndre. Maybe the Clippers can make a push and get up into that top 8. And I think that's worth it. Even if they play the Rockets, even if they play the Warriors, don't have a deep playoff, I still think it's important that this team carries forward and keeps fighting.
I would agree with you 100% there, Eric, to keep their playoff streak going into a 6th season. And certainly for our purposes, it would be nice to have some competitive basketball in the LA area to watch beyond mid-April. But we'll see how things play out. Again, the Lakers host the Clippers at Staples Center Friday night, 7:30. Check it out. I'm certainly, Eric and I will be watching. But in the meantime, thank you all again for joining us for this edition of Hollywood Hoops Laid Back Reaction. I'm Josh Martin of Lonzo Wire. He's Eric Pincus of Basketball Insiders and Bleacher Report. We're presented, as always, by High Five. And be sure to check out the podcast, Hollywood Hoops, on iTunes, Megaphone, Stitcher, Google Play, wherever you get your podcasts. And every Wednesday afternoon from 4 to 5 p.m. on Dash Radio's Nothing But Net channel. See you soon.
He's on his race, going to Hollywood, he's busting into Hollywood.